with him. So before we begin, it is my pleasure to briefly introduce our host for today's session, Associate Professor Zheng Yangqi, Vice Chairman of the Center for Junior Education. Today, he kindly serves as our host and moderator, helping to bring together scholars and students from across Taiwan for this lecture. Please join me in welcoming Vice Chairman Zheng Yangqi.
Okay, everyone, hello. Good afternoon, distinguished faculty, students, and guests. On behalf of Chair Lady Ruo, it is with pleasure that I welcome you to today's talk, where we have the opportunity to explore a topic that encompasses philosophy, theology, and contemporary life. Virtue ethics, from classical roots to Christian practice in a contemporary world. Our speaker, Martin Simm, is a junior research fellow and a chair of systematic theology at the University of Tartu, where his work engaged deeply with moral philosophy and its practical implications. Please join me in giving warm welcome to our guest, Martin Simm.
Yes, it is great to be here. So welcome to the lecture, Virtue Ethics from Classical Roots to Christian Practice in a Contemporary World. But let me start with a question. What if in the next 5 to 10 years, AI becomes better than you in many things? And you can ask, what is left for you? What if the only thing you are better at than AI in a couple of years is being human? If that is true, then education cannot be only about knowledge and skills. It must also be about learning what it means to be a human person. And this is exactly what virtue ethics is about. A virtue is a good quality of a person. To have a virtue means to be a certain kind of person, not just to do the right thing sometimes. Virtue shapes how you think, how you feel, how you decide, how you act every day. It is a habit. You can say a virtue is something that is a stable, very strong and clearly visible good quality in a person. And we all know that even good people can fail and gradually be compromised and maybe even corrupted. The Greek word arete, which was later translated as virtue, originally means excellence. Ethics in the broader sense is the rational pursuit of what is good and avoidance of what is evil. Augustine accepts the Aristotle's idea that everyone seeks happiness. And he agrees that many of the things people want as part of that happiness, the problem is the same one that many Greek philosophers and poets who came after Aristotle also noticed. Good things that people think are essential to happiness are so easily lost. Aristotle thought becoming a good person is like training a muscle. You build virtues through practice. Christians turned to Aristotle and agreed, but said the ultimate goal isn't just a good life, but a life shaped by God, for God, and people. So Augustine and Aquinas then explained how this transformation goes beyond self-improvement. It is also something that God does in us. And we will talk about virtue ethics in technology and in ethics of lending. First, let's look how virtue ethics is used in ethics of technology. So Shannon Waller is an American philosopher of technology, and she argues that new technologies change our daily habits, and because our habits shape our character, technology also shapes who we become and how well we live with others. Ethics and technology are connected because technologies encourage certain ways of thinking and acting. Now, you can say that today, technology gives humans a huge power. Now, let's talk about how virtue ethics is used in financial ethics and more specifically in ethics of lending. And I will draw on Ilse Bahn, who is a theologian and a philosopher. So the first two financial virtues are, first is moderation. The second financial virtue is generosity. The third is courage. It refers to moral strength, the ability to stand firm even under pressure. And the last one is gratitude. Gratitude is more than thankfulness for Ilse Bahn. It is a transformation.
Professor, thank you for the lecture. I have a question about the practice of virtue. Classical ethics says we build virtue through habit and practice. However, modern psychology says our mental energy is limited. In the modern world, students and workers are often exhausted after a long day. When we get home, we only have enough energy for brainless activity like scrolling on our phones. In this case, does building virtuous habits become a luxury? How can we practice virtue when we are mentally exhausted?
That is a great question. Thank you so much. Let me reflect back. How can we develop virtue when we are exhausted, when we are tired, when we are psychologically down, maybe when our mental state is we are suffering mentally?
But I'm reading a book by a Catholic priest.
I feel this is justice, specifically criminal justice.
Thank you, Marty, for that thoughtful and engaging lecture. I would like to express our sincere gratitude for your time and for sharing your insights with us. It has been a privilege to have you with us.